Hi everyone, I just wanted to make a little video about fruit ripeness. And I think that's a very funny thing in the world of fruit lovers, and on this channel we talk about the raw food diet, raw vegan diet, fruit-based diet. And in this particular video I just want to talk about fruit ripeness and something that I think people get wrong about fruit ripeness and how they choose fruit. There's a lot of people that have heard various rules about how ripe a fruit should be, and they follow those rules without really questioning them. So one of them is, for example, bananas should be spotty before you eat them. Well, they don't have to be, and you can eat bananas that are ripe and taste good and there's no spots on the outside. I had this problem with a chef at the UK Fruit Fest who was telling me none of these bananas are ripe, and I was looking at them and could tell they were ripe without touching them because I'm an experienced fruit eater. And I opened it up and I ate it and I said, that's ripe. Because you tell ripeness by flavour and taste. You don't tell ripeness by always 100% by colour and all this stuff. There's a lot of absolute nonsense about testing for ripeness. People always say, like, how do you pick a ripe melon? You can't. You just buy a melon, buy ones that look good to you. But all this tapping and pushing and this thing's white on the outside, none of that's going to make any big difference. I can kind of look at melons and go, they're probably not good. That's all I go by. But I don't know if I could put that into explanation exactly why they don't look good. It's just a sixth sense by now. So that's why I don't always go by someone else's rules. Another one is pineapples. I'm sorry if this shocks you, but pineapples don't have to be yellow and gold on the outside to be ripe. And not all green pineapples are unripe. Oh, and there's all this stuff about the fruit's all picked unripe and none of it's good. You've got to understand, what does unripe mean? Unripe means like it's impossible to eat. Not that it's not perfect. And a truly unripe banana, it's not possible to eat it. There's no question about it being ripe or not. There's no question. Unripe fruits are inedible. Many of them you can't even open up. The ripeness cycle of a fruit, or the period of ripeness, is much wider for a lot of fruits than people appreciate. And so the idea that if you don't eat it perfect that there's going to be some problem, there is no problem. It's not maybe as good. Would the bananas have been better a few days later with some spots on them? Not a great deal. Oh, I always need bananas like that. You don't know what you're talking about. You know, there's also different varieties, different things have happened to them, different ways that they've been stored. The way that you've personally stored them all have an impact. Pineapples. People say, I've never had a good pineapple. You've just never, tried enough pineapples. All the green pineapples are bad. That's not true. It's just not true. And then the whole idea that these acidic, unripe fruits, especially the idea that they're bad for your teeth, these acidic, unripe fruits, they're bad for your digestion, they're bad for your teeth, they're bad for this. These are like people that are anti-fruit, on the borderline of being anti-fruit, like they want people to not eat anything, apart from some perfection diet. And that's one of the bad public ideas towards the fruitarian diet, is that it's this perfectionist, idyllic mindset that no one can actually do. We're all waiting under trees for the fruit to fall perfectly. Oh, thank you to Mother Nature. You know, like, we'll only eat the fruit once, and we don't want to harm a tree, and we must not harm the flowers. And like, that might be your particular ideal, but It's not broadly how people do this lifestyle. And it is a lifestyle. It's something that people want to actually follow, because it's important for people to have a good experience of their life and their health, and have the fun and joy of eating fruit, and not hold back because they're like, oh my God, it's unripe. Oh no, it's not perfect. Oh, it's going to harm, it's acidic and it's bad. Then it's not really particularly acidic either. This idea that unripe fruits are the reason for people having tooth issues is wrong, simply wrong. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how acidic the fruit is. Do you get the fact that our ancestors have been eating fruit for millions of years? Do you think that maybe their teeth are designed to cope with that? Do you think that maybe some of the fruits in the wild would have been more acidic? Sometimes. Yes is the answer. And we have a mechanism, the remineralization of the teeth, that happens with your saliva. That's what's meant to happen. Tooth issues and tooth decay come down far more to do with dried fruit, processed foods and things like that, and sugar and things like that. Things that stick to the teeth. Acidic fruits don't stick to the teeth. So let's get that out of the way. Persimmons do not have to be falling apart squishy for you to eat them. You can enjoy them like that. There's no need to wait that long. They have a very wide spectrum of sweetness and ripeness, and you can wait for them to collapse in a pile on your plate and fall all down your t-shirt if you want, but you can eat them when they're not like that. You can eat them when they're more of the consistency of a peach or a nectarine that's ripe. You know? Taste it. That's what ripeness really is. You taste it to find out. Now, some persimmons are astringent and you cannot eat them unless they're totally soft. But this is what we're talking about. There's no question people aren't going to eat astringent persimmons because it's impossible. There's no need to teach people that. Really. Figs. Well, figs isn't really ripeness, but figs can be on the outside. Some figs can be bad for your tongue. Not bad for your tongue, but hurt your tongue. Turn them inside out. It's quite simple. But people might go, oh, they're unripe or something or other. Who knows? People say all sorts of things. But persimmon, like, I don't know, people have heard this thing. Oh, if you want to be part of the club, the fruitarian club, you must follow these rules. Don't embarrass yourself now. Don't eat persimmons unless they're totally falling apart, because that's how we do it. Like, that's what this is. It's like people have heard these rules and they're like, oh, I better follow the rules. I don't want to be embarrassed. Well, there is no rules in terms of fruit eating other than if it's enjoyable to eat and sweet, delicious, then that means it's ripe. And it could get more ripe, but it also could get overripe. And you should be able to tell yourself. You shouldn't really need someone else telling you. Citrus. Another one that people say is like acidic and everything and bad. And I mean, I think a lot of citrus is quite inconsistent. I don't buy a lot of oranges. I would like to. I just don't have a lot of faith in them compared to other fruits. Maybe I'll change my mind on that. But if they're unripe, unripe oranges for a start you can't open. You would have to saw the thing open. If you're able to peel the skin off, that's a ripe orange. It might not be a good orange. It might not have the level of sugar that you want. It might not have the acidity that you want. But that's the best that orange is ever going to be. And, you know, at the end of the day, if it's orange on the outside, it's pretty much as good as it's going to be. So everyone wants to say these things about all this unripe fruit, and unripe fruit is like inedible. There's no big mystery around, like, you need to have these rules to eat these fruits. Like, when's the perfect time to eat this fruit? Perfect time is when you enjoy it. I'm trying to think of other examples. The bananas with the brown spots. If you see someone going up to a melon and tapping it, they don't know anything about fruit. Like, that's just a weird performance that people do to look like they know something. Doesn't match anything to the ripeness or how good it is in the inside. It's a weird thing that people do. People get mangoes in terms of ripeness. The thing about mangoes is, if they're rock hard, they're probably never going to ripen properly. There's certain fruits, stone fruits, if you feel them and they're rock hard, there's a good chance they're not going to ripen properly. So that's one thing I would maybe follow. But these are like little things. So yeah, I think that's all the fruits I can think of that people question the ripeness of them, and like, honestly, like, unripe fruits are inedible. You don't have to have someone telling you that it's not ripe or whatever. But I've had situations where I'm eating like really delicious persimmons or something, and people are like, no, you can't do that. You can't eat that. But it's delicious. Oh, you don't know what you're doing. Well, I'm eating a fruit that I'm enjoying, and it doesn't have any negative side effect on me. And I think that's what we're meant to be kind of doing. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be nice. I'm nearly at 3,000 people, I'm getting there. And we have the Love Fruit podcast, which is nearing 50 interviews with raw vegans from around the world. If you'd like to find that, you can go to, I'll put a link below for that. And if you'd like to join my email newsletter, you can go to fruitfest.co.uk. It's the UK Fruitfest email newsletter. It's basically me that writes it though. And I send something out every week. I send out multiple stuff, sometimes every day. Maybe that's annoying, but there you go. Yeah, well, thank you for watching.